cabinet secretaries who have already made their way into parliament buildings and in the National Assembly chambers, ready for that State of the Nation address. Our dear viewers, remember this State of the Nation address is pursuant to Article 132, subsection 1B of the Constitution, that provides that the President shall address a special sitting of Parliament once a year and may address Parliament at any given time. Article 132, subsection 1C of the Constitution further provides that the President shall, among others, every once a year report in an address to the nation all the measures being taken to ensure that the progress of the nation is being achieved in the realization of the national values referred to in Article 10 of the Constitution. And upon looking at Article 10 of the Constitution, our dear viewers, these national values, we are speaking about matters to do with patriotism, national unity, sharing, devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy, participation of the people, matters to spearhead human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized, issues of good governance, integrity, transparency, and accountability. On your screens, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, has arrived. He is already being received by the DCI boss, the Inspector General of Police, as well as a host of the top security bosses in the country. And the arrival of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya indicates that any moment from now, we'll be expecting the President to make his way into the chamber. Remember, this joint sitting is set to commence at 2:30 p.m. with the inspection of the guard of honor, which takes precedence before the President makes his awaited 15th, or this is the 15th rather. A number of presidents have made their State of the Nation address before President William Ruto. His first one was last year, and this will be his second State of the Nation address, the third, so to speak, a State of the Nation address by President William Ruto. And our dear viewers, the public service values also fall under these values of national unity. And let's now have a look at these values, the public service values that fall under national values and principles of good governance. They include the high standards of professional ethics, efficient and effective economic use of resources, responsible, prompt, effective and impartial, and as well as equitable and provision of services, the involvement of the people in the process of the policy making and accountability of administrative acts. The band right outside the Senate chambers is ready for this day. President William Ruto is on your screens. You can see him. He is already around Parliament. Any moment from now, he'll be making his way into Parliament of Kenya and specifically to the National Assembly's chamber, ready to deliver his State of the Nation address. Remember, this is the third one, and that is pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution, where the President will be giving that State of the Nation address, as well as tabling a number of reports for debate by both houses of Parliament, that is the National Assembly and the Senate. And this submission of the report is made in fulfilling the national and international obligations of the Republic. The President is also expected to table a report on matters security of the country and also tell the nation through Parliament some of the agendas that the country has made steps on. These are achievements and gains for the past 1 year as well as highlighting some of the expectations Kenyans are set to expect in the coming year. I am not alone at the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit. My name is Gladys Mungai, and kindly allow me to hand you over to my colleague, Edward Kabasa, to take it over from here. Welcome, Edward Kabasa.
Thank you, Gladys Mungai. The president is about to inspect the guard of honor mounted along Parliament Road this afternoon. It is an important day in the Parliament's calendar where the president is addressing a joint sitting of Parliament, the National Assembly, and the Senate. The members have already walked into the chambers and taken their rightful seats, awaiting the president to walk in and deliver the much-awaited address. This is in keeping with the provisions of the Constitution and the standing orders of the National Assembly and the Senate as well. This important occasion has been witnessed since Kenya attained its independence. There on your screen is the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Ruto, who is walking into the Parliament buildings to join up with other dignitaries who have also made their way to Parliament. This afternoon, there are a number of foreign missions which are represented in this program. And earlier we did see the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, also made his way into the Parliament buildings. The President, after inspecting the guard of honor, he will be ushered into the buildings by the speakers of Parliament. There on your screen, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Masika Wetangula, will be the first one to greet the president, and then followed by the Speaker of the Senate, Amason Jeffer Kingi, and then the dignitaries who have lined up along the entrance of Parliament. They are using the usual entrance, that is the Senate entrance into the Parliament of Kenya. And the president, after saying hello to the senators, on your screen there is Senator Ledama of Narok County, and there is Senator Stewart Madzayo as well. They are waiting for the president to get into the gate there. He has now left the Parliament Road and he has walked into the gates of Parliament, and any moment now he will appear in your screens, and that will kickstart the process that Kenyans are awaiting this afternoon. The president has used the previous State of the Nation address to update Kenyans on the steps that the government is taking to improve the economy, as well as security, education, health, and arising matters. One of the flagship projects of the Kenya Kwanza administration has been the Hustler Fund. It is expected, just like in the previous addresses, the president will perhaps address the Hustler Fund. Where did it begin and where is it at the moment? And what are some of the policies that will be introduced in future to improve the fund? He has been passionate about the Hustler Fund, saying that it has uplifted the lives of Kenyans. And recently, the government launched the Nyota program, and perhaps this might form also part of the address that the president will be issuing this afternoon. There is a lot to talk about, considering the fact that Kenya is also at the forefront in fighting for a cleaner and greener planet, and that might also feature in the president's speech this afternoon. He has there on your screen is saying hello to the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. There is the leader of the majority party in the National Assembly, followed by the leader of the majority party in the Senate, followed by the leader of the minority party in the Senate and in the National Assembly, the Senator for Narok County, Senator Ledama Olekina, there on your screen saying hello to the president. And that is the majority whip. And the clerk of the Senate, followed by the clerk of the National Assembly, and other senior officials in the Parliament of Kenya. And this is part of the pleasantries that are exchanged before the president is ushered into the Parliament buildings using the entrance to the Senate. And any moment now, the Houses of Parliament under one roof will convene for the special joint sitting of Parliament, which brings together senators and members of the National Assembly for the much awaited State of the Nation address by the President, the head of state, William Samoei Ruto, this afternoon. It is his third State of the Nation address, and he will tell Kenyans where the country is at. The president is heading towards the Senate chambers. That route heads to the Senate chambers, and after that, we do expect the president to make his way to the National Assembly chambers. These are live pictures from the Parliament buildings, brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. This broadcast is always available on YouTube, courtesy of the Parliament of Kenya YouTube channel. And you can also follow it on Senate TV, Bunge TV as well. And the broadcast is available also on KBC Channel 1. That's the main corridor that is leading to the National Assembly chambers. On your screen there is the members' lounge, and just behind the camera is the main highway that is leading to the National Assembly chambers. And thanks to the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit, the pressings of Parliament really have been opened up to the public on numerous occasions. You get the opportunity to watch beyond what normally happens during the normal sittings on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and during special sittings. It is during such occasions that you get to interact with the images that often you don't get to watch on your TV. And on a day such as this, when the president will be addressing the Republic, then you get the opportunity to view at least pictures from various sections of Parliament. On your screen, the members are familiarizing. In a couple of minutes, they will each take their seats. It is a huge assembly that is able to accommodate all the members of the assembly and the members of the Senate. And it happens once in a while, at least twice in a year. Such sittings have become a norm, especially in the present day Kenya, where the president gathers the members of Parliament and updates them on the steps that have been taken to address matters, progress that has been achieved in the realization of the national values, and also he gets to submit a report for debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. Now, in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and Standing Order 22, subsection 2, the members were notified actually about the special sitting of Parliament that is set to take place today, the November 20th, where the President will be addressing the members of the Senate and the members of the National Assembly. And Just a quick recap of the procedure that will be taking place this afternoon. The prayer will be said by the Speaker of the Senate and followed by convocation by the Speaker of the Senate and then the Speaker of the National Assembly. And then the Speaker of the National Assembly will invite His Excellency the President to make his address, and then the State of the Nation address will begin by the Excellency President William Ruto. And after, there will be an adjournment. The Speaker of the Senate will begin, and thereafter, the Speaker of the National Assembly will follow suit. The guests that have been invited for this important occasion are the former speakers, the Chief Justice as well, and judges have also been invited to come attend this State of the Nation address by the President, and the Governor of Nairobi County, where the Parliament of Kenya sits, has also been invited to come take part in this important occasion that we do expect to get underway in a matter of minutes. Just a reminder, the President has already arrived in Parliament, and any moment now he will be walking into the chambers, and that will signal the beginning of this important part of the Parliament calendar, where the head of state will be addressing Kenyans this afternoon. Now, Article 132, Sub-Article 1B of the Constitution requires the President to address the nation once every year and at any other time. Further, Article 132, Sub-Article 1C of the Constitution requires the President to, once every year, report in an address to the nation on the measures taken and progress achieved in the realization of Kenya's national values. Additionally, Article 132, Sub-Article 1C, Part 3 of the Constitution provides that the President shall submit a report for debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. In this regard, the President did convey a message to Parliament, and he conveyed his desire to address a joint sitting of the Houses of Parliament today, 20th of November 2025. And this sitting will begin shortly. On your screen, the Sergeant at Arms. This is the Senate side of Parliament. And the President is being briefed by the leadership of the Senate. And after that, he will make his way to the Parliament, the National Assembly chambers. He will be walking alongside the two speakers. There on your screen are the maces, the National Assembly mace on your right and the Senate mace on your left. They will be leading the way, followed by the speakers and the President. The part of the ceremony that takes place on the Senate wing is the signing of the visitor's book. He is a guest today, and in keeping with the tradition, he is expected to sign a visitor's book both at the Senate and at the National Assembly as well, just part of the usual tradition that accompanies the State of the Nation address. In keeping with the campaign promise, the head of state has used the State of the Nation address to update Kenyans on the Kenya Kwanza flagship projects. One of them, the affordable housing and the Hustler Fund, they have featured prominently in his previous speeches to Parliament. And today, the president will perhaps update Kenyans on how many houses have been constructed and what is the status of the Social Health Authority registration by numbers. He has often used his addresses to the nation to implore on Kenyans to address issues to do with health, saying that the Social Health Authority provides the best platform for Kenyans to get insured and guaranteed that their medical needs will be taken care of. And such occasions are used by the president to further drive the message home that the new medical insurance regime is best suited for the country, that it is better than the previous one. He has, on numerous occasions, encouraged Kenyans that the Social Health Authority is the best mechanism yet to achieving that desired health status in the country. Now, in his previous address, he did encourage Kenyans to register en masse so that they can enjoy the benefits of the Social Health Authority. And just there on your screen, just the Sergeant at Arms are preparing the way, and the speakers are on the move, and so is the President of the Republic. And now the march is on. They are headed straight to the National Assembly chambers, where the State of the Nation address will take place. The President all smiles, accompanied by the Clerk of the National Assembly, Clerk of the Senate, the Speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate, and Chief Sergeant at Arms. It is a very important occasion in the Parliament's calendar, and leading from the front is the top leadership of Parliament. On your screen, on the walls, are portraits of former speakers. The portraits are on display, and those who have been fortunate enough to visit the Parliament buildings, those are some of the things that you will see. And there the President stepping into the chambers, making the long walk to the front. I will now hand you over for this live broadcast of the joint sitting of Parliament, where the President will be with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Edward Kabasa. On behalf of my colleague Gladys Mungai, enjoy your viewing.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka, sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba utuajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote atakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. You may be seated. Order, Honorable Senators. Your Excellency, the Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CJH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, the Right Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula, EGH, MP, Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Members of Parliament, Article 132(1)(b) of the Constitution provides that the President shall address a special sitting of Parliament once every year and may address Parliament at any other time. Article 132(1)(c) of the Constitution further provides that the President shall, among others, once every year report in an address to the nation all the measures taken and the progress made or achieved in the realization of the national values referred to in Article 10 of the Constitution. In addition, Article 247 of the Constitution requires the President, in his capacity as the chairperson of the National Security Council, to report to Parliament annually on the state of the security of the country. In this regard, the Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, via the letter reference EOP/1 Cap.26/4A Volume 7/1, dated the 3rd of September 2025, informed the Speakers of the Houses of Parliament of the intention of His Excellency the President to address Parliament. Consequently, and upon consultation, the address to Parliament by His Excellency the President was scheduled for today, Thursday, 20th November 2025. Pursuant to Standing Order 25(2) of the Senate Standing Orders, I notify honorable senators of the place, date, and time of today's special sitting via Gazette Notice number 16/518, which was published in a special issue of the Kenya Gazette on Wednesday, 12th of November 2025. Further, together with the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, we notified all members of Parliament and the general public of today's special sitting via notices placed in the Daily Nation and the Standard newspapers of Wednesday, 12th November 2025. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, the Right Honorable Amason Kingi, EGH MP, Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Article 1321(b) of the Constitution requires the President to address the nation once every year and at any other time. Further, Article 1321(c) of the Constitution requires the President to, once every year, report in an address to the nation on measures taken and progress achieved in the realization of our national values. Additionally, Article 1321C3 of the Constitution provides that the President shall submit a report for debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. In this regard, honorable members, by way of a message to the House, His Excellency the President conveyed his desire to address a special sitting of the Houses of Parliament today, 20th November 2025. Therefore, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 22 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, by Gazette Notice number 1651, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on 12th November 2025, and indeed as also notified to all members and the general public by way of newspaper notification published on 12th November 2025, I gave notice of this special sitting of Parliament to the members of the National Assembly. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. Your Excellency, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is the custom of Parliament to recognize invited guests seated in our galleries. I therefore wish to recognize the following guests who are seated in the Speaker's row. Her Excellency Rachel Ruto, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, and other members of the First Family. His Excellency, the Honorable Professor Kithure Kindiki, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, EGH, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. Your Excellency, honorable members, also present this afternoon is the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome, EGH. She is accompanied by the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, EGH, Honorable Justice Daniel Musinga, CBS Presiding Judge, Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Oscar Angote, MBS, Presiding Judge of the Environment and Land Court, and Honorable Justice Brian Ongaya, EBS, Judge of the Employment and Labor Relations Court. We are also honored to have in our midst the immediate former Speakers of the Houses of Parliament, the Honorable Francis Ole Kaparo, the Honorable Ekwe Ethro, and the Honorable Kenneth Lusaka, EGH, the Governor of Bungoma County, and Clerk Emeritus of the National Assembly, Ambassador Michael Sialai, CBS. Also in the gallery, we have the Chairperson of the Council of Governors, who is also the Governor of Wajir County, the Honorable Ahmed Abdullahi, and the Honorable Johnson Sakaja, Governor of Nairobi City County. May I also accord special recognition to all Cabinet Secretaries present and particularly acknowledge 5 of them who are former ranking members of the Houses of Parliament, namely Honorable Aden Duale, EGH, former leader of the majority party in the National Assembly, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, EGH, former Senate Majority Leader, Honorable John Badi, EGH, and Honorable Opio Wandai, EGH, both former leaders of the minority party in the National Assembly, and the Honorable Alice Wahome, EGH. If Honorable Mutai Kagwe is present, he's also a former member of the House, I acknowledge him. I also acknowledge Principal Secretaries and members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads of constitutional commissions, and independent offices and state corporations present. You are all welcome to Parliament. Your Excellency, I wish to make a special welcome to Parliament and mention the Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, General Daniel Kahariri, and the respective service commanders, the Inspector General of Police, and other leaders of our disciplined forces who are seated at the Speaker's row. Parliament deeply appreciates your outstanding contribution to the national defense, security, and distinguished service to our nation. To all invited guests, we say, Karibu Bunge. Your Excellency, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to draw your attention to the officer standing to the right of the chamber in green. He is the Chief Sergeant at Arms of the National Assembly, Mr. Aloisio Lekulo, OGW. Your Excellency, this special mention of this gallant son of Kenya is for the reason that he comes from the smallest community in our nation, the El Molo community, a community which, according to our last census, numbers just about 500. He has risen through the ranks as a high school teacher, as a DO, and competitively employed in Parliament in the year 2006 in the Sergeant's office, rising to become the Chief Sergeant at Arms. Today is his last day on duty, having served diligently in public service. The National Assembly had a special session where we paid tribute to him, and we thank him for the distinguished service he has rendered to the nation and wish him well. Your Excellency, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces to address this special sitting of Parliament. Your Excellency, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Speakers of the National Assembly and Senate, the Honorable Members of the National Assembly and Senate, the Chief Justice and the leadership of the Judiciary, Cabinet Secretaries, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen. 2 years ago, when I delivered my first State of the Nation address, I had a vision to sell. Today, I have a story to tell. A story written not in the quiet offices or the comfort of boardrooms, but out in the blazing sun of our farms, in the dust of construction sites where our affordable homes now rise, and in the grit of our community health workers, doctors, medical professionals who refuse to surrender in the quest for universal health coverage. It is written in the steady hum of our factories, in the determination of millions daring to dream and finance their vision through the Hustler Fund, in the courage of our young people working on housing sites, in the Climate Works program, in the digital ecosystem, and in the bravery of those who, looking beyond our borders, have sought livelihoods abroad to sustain families back home. A story of sacrifice, a story of sweat, a story of progress that has not come easy. It is a story you can see in the numbers, feel in the homes, and trace in the lives transformed across our republic. A story whose facts are available for all to examine, except perhaps for the cynical who have no facts. Today, the evidence is clear, evidence of promises made and promises kept. In just 3 years, we have built not monuments of words, but foundations of progress. And yet, even with these achievements, I am convinced that this is only but struggle, sacrifice, hardship, triumph, and milestones that have affirmed our spirit. From that reflection came one undeniable truth. We have made commendable progress, but Kenya still punches way below its true weight. This nation has the talent, the resources, and the spirit not just to improve, but to leap and to make the transition from a developing country to a developed one within our lifetime. That is why I speak today with full conviction that history has summoned this generation, our generation, at such a time as this, to a higher purpose. Some eras are shaped by events. Others are defined by the decisions a nation makes. And today, Kenya is called to make such a decision, to finish the journey our forebears began, and finally turn our long-held potential into lived reality. To do this, we must cast off the prevailing mindset of being content with the average. We must step beyond the comfort of the familiar and the ordinary and reach with courage, clarity, and conviction for nothing less than excellence and greatness. Therefore, as we examine the achievements of the past 3 years, results that have laid a firm foundation for equality of opportunity and a nation where no one is left behind, today, I will also place before you not just a vision, but a national project that is realistic, grounded, and entirely within our reach. A vision not just to grow, but to transform. A roadmap not merely to move forward, but to rise from developing to developed, to rise from potential to reality, to rise from promise to prosperity, to rise from the third to the first world, to rise finally into the Kenya we have long imagined, the Kenya we deserve. For long, our ambition was held hostage by small thinking and ordinary expectations. But that era must now be confined to the past. Today, we stand on the threshold of something far greater, a moment in which we can say that our parents dreamed of and what our children yearn for, we will accomplish in our lifetime. As we know, this is achievable because others have done it before. I have often spoken of the Asian tigers, South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia. And by the way, members, the Prime Minister of Malaysia will be here this weekend. Countries that at independence were our peers in nearly every measurable way. They had no extraordinary resources. They were not superhuman. They simply had the courage to make bold, disciplined, deliberate choices. They invested in their people, demanded excellence, and refused to be trapped in the limitations of their circumstances. They refused to make peace with mediocrity. Today, they stand as first world economies. If they could rise, so can Kenya. It can be done. Let me repeat. It can be done. Later in this address, I will set out the strategic choices, the reforms we will deepen, the sectors we will unlock, and the investments we will prioritize to move Kenya to the next level. I say all this not as a personal badge of honor, but as a recognition of what we have achieved together, the Kenyan people, the leadership in all arms of government, and across all political formations. Honorable members, the last 3 years have not been easy. We have agreed, sometimes disagreed, and at times those disagreements have carried great cost. We have compromised, we have confronted hard truths, and we have endured storms none of us invited. But we all take comfort that it has not been for nothing, for this is how far we have come. At a time like this, in 2022, Kenya was in distress. Inflation had soared almost to double digits. A fuel shortage threatened to paralyze our economy as oil marketers struggled to access dollars. The shilling was in free fall. Foreign reserves had hit historic lows. Debt service consumed more than half of our revenues. Confidence, both local and foreign, had waned. International analysts warned that it was no longer a question of if, but when Kenya would default. Within that context, we acted. We restored fiscal discipline. We eliminated wasteful subsidies. We rationalized public expenditure. We strengthened revenue collection and placed our economy on a path of recovery and sustainability. Inflation, which stood at 9.6% in 2022, has steadily declined to 4.6% as of last month, bringing much needed relief to households. The shilling, once in perilous downward spiral, has stabilized at 129 to the dollar for nearly 2 years, a direct consequence of prudent monetary policy and disciplined fiscal management. Our successful Eurobond redemption signaled to the world that Kenya honors its obligations. 3 years ago, Kenya was ranked the 8th largest economy in Africa with a GDP of $115 billion US. Today, our GDP has increased to $136 billion, moving us up to become the 6th largest economy on the continent, according to IMF. This steep rise, ladies and gentlemen, is not accidental. It is the product of deliberate choices, disciplined execution, and strategic reforms that have strengthened our economy and unlocked its potential. Our foreign reserves have surpassed US dollars 12 billion, the highest in independent Kenya. This has restored certainty, cushioned our economy from external shocks, and restored investor confidence. International markets have taken note. Just this week, 14 of the world's leading financial institutions, including Citigroup, JP Morgan, Standard Chartered, and Goldman Sachs, projected that Kenya's economy will expand by between 5 and 5.8% in 2026. This confidence is anchored in solid fundamentals: lower credit costs, rising exports, improved household spending driven by low inflation, and a broadly stable macroeconomic environment. Standard & Poor's has upgraded Kenya's sovereign credit rating from B- to a firm B, our first upward revision in many years, signaling renewed international confidence. This upgrade lowers our risk profile, attracts more investment, and reduces borrowing costs for both government and the private sector. Fellow citizens, our foreign direct investment has more than tripled from US dollars 463, or about 60 billion shillings in 2021, to US dollars 1.5 billion, almost 195 billion Kenya shillings in 2024. In the last 36 months, over 300 new businesses, including 500 foreign companies, have registered and set up shop in Kenya, reflecting renewed confidence and improved ease of doing business. The Nairobi Securities Exchange has recorded a powerful resurgence, now recognized as one of the best performing emerging markets globally. Since January 2025, investor wealth has grown by over 1 trillion shillings, driven by a broad share price rally that has reestablished the Nairobi Securities Exchange as a premier asset class. The NSE is on track for its strongest performance in over a decade, building on last year's remarkable gains. This renewed vibrancy is a clear vote of confidence in Kenya's direction and in the reforms we have undertaken. In short, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the world's most respected economic assessors and market sentiment are affirming that what we already know, that our economy is strengthening, our prospects are brightening, and confidence in Kenya is rising. Our critics, the high priests of eternal pessimism, who criticize without responsibility and tear down without offering alternatives, will want you to believe that our economy is going in the wrong direction. But while everyone may speak their mind, and that is the beauty of our democracy, no one is entitled to manufacture self-serving falsehoods and traffic them as facts. And facts are exactly what I present here today: clear, verifiable, and indisputable. Mr. Speaker, one of the greatest contributors to the high cost of living is the cost of food. Kenyans in 2022 marched with empty sufurias, a stark symbol of frustration and unbearable cost of basic commodities. From the very outset, we made an intentional and strategic decision to subsidize production and not consumption. We understood that lasting relief would not come from temporary subsidies and price controls, but from strengthening the foundations of agricultural production. We also recognized that agriculture is not merely another sector of our economy. It is the lifeline of our nation. If we were to secure households, stabilize prices, create jobs, expand industry, and spur exports, agriculture had to be the fulcrum of our transformational agenda. To organize the sector and improve service delivery, we launched an integrated digital platform to register farmers. In 2022, fewer than 300,000 farmers were on record. Today, over 7.1 million farmers are registered on the Kenya Integrated Agricultural Management Information System, giving us visibility to design scientific targeted interventions and eliminate extortionists, getaway brokers, and drive out cartels and middlemen. This has enabled us to implement the fertilizer subsidy program at scale. To date, over 21 million bags of affordable fertilizer have been distributed, reducing the price by nearly 2/3 and saving farmers Kenya shillings 105 billion so far. This year alone, we delivered 7 million bags of fertilizer and 35 million kilos of certified seed. And next year in 2026, we plan to distribute 12.5 million bags across all the 1,450 wards, ensuring every farmer has access to affordable inputs. The impact has been phenomenal. Productivity in all our agricultural sectors has gone up. National maize harvests have risen from 44 million bags in 2022 to 67 million bags in 2024, setting the stage for a historic harvest this year of 70 million bags. The results are visible in markets and homes. The price of a 2-kilogram packet of flour has fallen from what it was 250 in 2022 to as low as 130 today. For millions of households, this is meaningful daily relief. The transformation across our value chains is equally compelling. Tea production has grown, with earnings rising from Kenya shillings 138 billion in 2022 to Kenya shillings 215 billion in 2024, a 56% increase. The coffee sector, once on the brink of collapse, is roaring back. Nearly 50,000 seedlings have been distributed. Earnings have risen from an average of Kenya shillings 70 per kilo to now between 120 and 150 shillings per kilo. We are on track to increase exports from 48,000 metric tons to 60,000 metric tons this year, and projected to reach 150 million tons in 3 years' time. Edible oils acreage under production expanded by 90% between 2022 and April 2025, cutting the edible oil import bill by 17 billion in 1 year. By 2027, we aim to halve this bill, saving Kenya nearly 60 billion in foreign exchange. Cotton production has nearly tripled. Cashew nut yields have grown following the distribution